get it
Okay.
going. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. My name is Samantha, and I have an amazing guest for you guys today. This is JJ Carroll. He's amazing. Some of you may have gotten his books. If not, I'll give him a second to explain those to you guys. But this man has more knowledge about what's going on in this country than 99% of us. So sit down, enjoy the show. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. JJ, do you want to introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about the books that you have out?
Sure. My name is JJ Carroll. I am a retired Border Patrol agent after 24 years. I retired. My last year was Joe Biden's first year in office, and I just couldn't take it. I literally just hit a wall and said, I'm not partaking in this. And to be quite honest with you, when I left, I envisioned treasonous stuff because I've been witness it for the first full year, but never in my wildest dreams would I been able to comprehend what he would be able to, and when I mean him, I mean the cabal, were able to do to America. And I left. I got out of the Border Patrol, got out of everything, and then I started to get pulled back in through interviews, and I decided to write a book, became a bestseller, and then I wrote another book, became a bestseller again. And then I created two documentaries, one on child trafficking. I testified in front of Congress about child sex trafficking. That's a whole ordeal to itself. And then President Trump asked for retired Border Patrol and ICE officers to return to and I call it a battlefield, return to the battlefield. And I felt compelled, and so I joined back. So I'm back in federal law enforcement. So there's things that I may not be able to talk to your audience about just because I can't create a nexus, but that's where I'm at now. And I maybe I could ask this of your audience. And I don't say this lightly in any way. I ask you to pray for the men and women that are in law enforcement, particularly in Border Patrol and ICE. They're under immense pressure, and they are sacrificing a lot, and they are some great patriots, and they are being brutalized physically, emotionally. They're from A-list Hollywood people to high-ranking politicians are calling them calling me vile names, and it has an impact. Over time, it has an impact. So if I could ask for that, that would be great.
Absolutely. Because I did want to say this. Thank you so much for serving your country. I have two sons in the military, and I think sometimes people think because I'm a little frustrated with what is happening right now in my
Hmm.
country that somehow I dropped the patriot title or the conservative title. I don't think they understand that my frustration is not with people like you and I who love this country and want to save it.
Hmm.
My frustration is I want to see deep state arrested. And when I saw your video the other day, it resonated so deep with me because when I look at Minnesota and I research Somalia, I understand the inbreeding and the
Hmm.
crossing over and the extreme low IQ
Hmm.
of this demographic. And I'm looking at that and I've gone to Washington numerous times. I've been able to go to Ellis Island and I read the stories about people who had a cough. They had
Hmm.
tuberculosis or they had a clubfoot and they were turned, put
Hmm.
back on ships and sent back to their native countries. So I look at the fraud in Minnesota and I realize there is no way that these people
Hmm.
did this without help from not just non governmental organizations, but help from somebody somewhere within the United States government. And I voted for Trump because I wanted my son safe.
Hmm.
I wanted a place that my daughters could have children and it would be okay that, you know, they were white. Let's be
Hmm.
honest. And I'm looking around and I'm like, wow, could we see some people get arrested? Because I think JJ, I agree with you. Trump is running into an issue where he's starting to lose the base of patriots
Hmm.
because we want action. We are so sick of political theater. That's the best way I can put it.
Well, we're past a year and no one's been arrested. And when I mean no one, not one, not James Comey, no one has been arrested. That's not what I voted for. And
Mm-mm.
here's the thing. If he doesn't arrest these people and they get in power, they're going to arrest us. They're going
Yes.
to crush us through the IRS. They're going to crush us through social media. They're going to censor us. I don't think America truly understands where we are on the precipice. We're on the edge. And Donald Trump said that about a month ago. He says, we could go either way. We could go bad or we can go good. It's really that simple. And I don't think it really is. We're surpassed the left and the right. They're the same. The
Yes.
Democrats, Republicans are the same. And
Yes.
I would assume that you believe that the way I do. It is now the lines have been drawn. You are either American or you hate America and want her to
Yeah.
go down in flames. There is no other. That's the sides. Look at what you mentioned Ellis Island. The people that we brought into the country for decades, but let's focus on what Joe Biden did in 4 years. He brought in 30 million people. Donald
Yeah.
Trump admits that there's 25 million. Some people say higher. I say 30, and I think I'm pretty in solid ground 30 million. 60 to 70% of them were single adult military age men from the continent of Africa, Middle East, in Venezuela and Haiti, and South America. If you look on the map, the Middle East, and Africa, especially sub-Sahara, they inbreed. They have incestuous cousin on cousin sexual relations. They have children. They have an IQ level that is an average, not the high. The average is 68 to 70, the
And see,
number.
I taught special ed. So when you say that, I cringe from an educational standpoint because if you brought me, I also have a master's in special ed, but I have an English as a second language certification. So I would be that teacher that would get these children
Hmm.
from these people. And there would be no way for me to do my job adequately. And then something else that bothers me, and I don't think people really grasp this, the federal government subsidizes children with disabilities. If your child just has a mild speech impediment, if your kid is in public school, it's not going to be fixed. There's no reason to fix it. The school makes money from your child having a
Hmm.
speech impediment.
Yeah.
So it's like teachers have their hands locked. They can't fix your kid because then the public school's upset because they've just lost all this federal
Yeah.
funding. And the federal government loves to get all these special need kids. So when I heard you talking the other day and you were showing their faces, I'm sitting there, I graduated with my degree, my second degree in 2005. I was taught that it was mild, moderate, and severe retardation. That was the
Hmm.
wording that the federal government used during that time. So when I saw those pictures, I'm like, wow, that is like severe retardation because the
Severe.
shape of the head is
Yes.
so maligned. The eyes are bugging out, the chin is non-existent, or the head is very wide, which means the cavity, your head is the cavity your brain sits in. So when you look at someone like that, it's so bad that if they breed, okay, they will because they get subsidized through
Hmm.
Medicaid and food stamps. And you're right. At this point, if somebody does not help us, we will in the next 3 years be punished in a way that Americans cannot even
Hmm.
you cannot even imagine it. And then when you see AI rolling out, surveillance state type Palantir and all of this rolling out at the same times, if Trump does not take care of cleaning it up, he's going to leave the Democrats in a position with all of this technology where they can hunt us
Hmm.
down. And they will.
And they
They will
will.
hunt us down. They're furious.
Yeah, and this you're not theorizing. They've said it. They're saying it out loud right now. We are coming to get you. Politicians in the Democrat side are saying we have a running list of who is un-American. They call us un-American insurrectionists, and we are going to reap hell on them. Look what our government's done to us, Republicans and Democrats.
Yes.
You brought in, and I'm not being mean when I say they're retarded, okay? This is a medical term that got scrubbed and cleaned up to
Yep.
be mentally deficient. No, 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 no. For my whole entire life, people that had they were called mentally retarded.
Yep.
And that's a medical term that got scrubbed. Our government brought in millions of retarded people.
Yeah.
I don't know if Americans can truly understand. Let me just give you an example. In my career, I would arrest people from all over the world, and they would stand before me, and I would ask them biographical, questions and all this. I'm telling you, they could barely function as a human, barely function as a human being. They had no ability to communicate normally. They couldn't write. Sometimes they didn't even know what a pen was. They wouldn't be able to, they put a mark down and they wouldn't be able to do an X. That's what, and I remember sitting, this I tell all the young guys, stop looking at the sob story in front of you because it's always a sob story. But look at them and say to yourself, that's not an individual. That's representative of tens of millions of these people are and everybody goes, well, I don't know why our schools are so down. I don't know what do you think it is? What does the teacher do in a classroom? They have to teach the lowest common denominator. So when the lowest common denominator is a child from two retarded people, what do you think your children are learning?
You're
Nothing.
exactly right. And
Nothing.
thank you for saying that because I just feel like you vindicated so many educators that have walked out of classrooms. I walked out when Obama came in and said, here are the new regulations. You will teach to the lowest denominator.
Mhm.
You will lower your lesson plans. You will reduce what you teach. And I looked around and thought, I didn't go to college for 10 years and get 4 certifications for this.
Mhm.
I didn't push that hard to not come in here and knock it out of the park. And so I did what thousands of great educators did. I stepped back. I stepped back. I started seeding schools. I started helping parents homeschool. And I look at everything right now, and I think for my channel, it's been kind of a shakeup lately. People are like, "Oh my God, you're being so mean. You just hate Trump." No, no, I don't. I voted for him. I am so frustrated because I see the writing on the wall, and it's my sons, it's my children that I am fighting for because I am very outspoken, but I've got two beautiful blonde, blue-eyed daughters who didn't make it above 5'3". I don't know how that happened, but they didn't. And when I look at them, all I think of is I am wearing camo for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like I am so country, but I love my country, man. Like I am red, white, and blue through and through. And I cannot seem to wrap my mind around. I don't want to talk about Greenland. I don't want to talk about Venezuela.
Nope.
I don't care about Israel. Like no offense.
Nope.
But as far as I'm concerned, the Jews and the Muslims are just they hate us equally. So at
Equally.
this point, I just want to slam the door shut and I need people to realize that if you lined up 10 people right now, two of the 10 would not even speak your language. They wouldn't have your
Mhm.
same belief system. They've
Nope.
never lived in a free country. They are your replacement.
Yep.
They're here for
That,
your jobs, your children, everything.
Well, we're looking at what the left and the rhinos did is they put a ticking time bomb in America right now, and that ticking time bomb is demographics. So you brought in 50 million illegal aliens. They reproduce sometimes up to 5 times. This is UN data. 5 times. If they're Muslim, they will reproduce up to 10 times what we did. We're at a bad math problem. 50 million. Try to understand what I'm saying. If they have 10 children, it's 500 million. 500 million kids. If you want to split it in half and say, well, half of them are men, they can't have babies, that's fine. Then we're at 250,000, 250 million. Do you think that we're going to survive this? And I tell people, stop apologizing for being a nation founded and settled by white Christian Europeans. Stop it. The Japanese don't apologize. The Mexicans don't. The Iranians and Israel, they don't apologize. Why in God's name am I apologizing for being a white country and wanting it to remain a white country? But I want your audience to understand, within a decade, we are no longer a white country.
That's
We
right.
went from 1970s being 90% white, 10%, 9.8% black, with a sprinkling of just, they didn't even measure, they didn't even quantify Hispanics in 1970 because they didn't exist in America, even in
Right.
the Southwest. Then you fast forward to today, we're at 55% white. We lost 35 percentage points in population percentage in 50 years.
Yeah.
It's now accelerated that within a decade, we will be a minority majority. They are killing us at an amazing rate. Black on white violence is off the chart. You can say whatever you want. Illegal immigrants and illegal immigrants are murdering and raping us, and we're the majority. What do you think is going to happen when we become the minority? And you don't have to guess at this. This is happening across the globe. When a white nation turns to be a white minority in its own country. And there's nothing wrong with saying this out loud. This
No,
hush hush, we need to speak this out loud. Why? What's the alternative? We become a hodgepodge of country that I don't even recognize. They're saying now, conservative, this is conservative. 1 in 4 residents in America are a foreign national, illegal alien, or legal. Holy mother of God, 1 in 4. And they're saying that is already tipping to 1 in 3.
yes,
I hate to tell America this. If Donald Trump, and I don't know if he has, I don't know if he's the man for it. I don't. I'm a huge Trump fan, supporter. If he doesn't remove all these people and do it like within a year or two, America will never be what she was. It can't be. You can't infuse tens of millions of illegal aliens from countries that have no resemblance to what we are and think it's going to be okay.
I
Honestly,
agree.
what idiot believes that? Only a complete moron would believe this. And then when you say, well, not everyone can be a moron, especially the people in power, you're right. They did it intentionally.
They did. And I've been kind of walking people through this like, we are a Christian nation. The people that came here to settle America were Christians. They were running from oppression from the Roman Catholic Church and kings and queens across the water. But we created a federal government and consolidated. Most of those people had Christian upbringing, but they also served other gods. And that is hard to wrap your mind around. The thing is I don't want to live under Noahide laws. I don't want to live under Sharia law. I don't want to be told by a Buddhist monk that I can't step on a bug. I don't like bugs. There's freedom in Jesus. That is why Christian countries do so well,
Mhm.
is there is a freedom in Jesus Christ. And that freedom is the right to think and feel for yourself. There's no burdensome application of a religious law that nails you down. I am never going to put a head covering on, whether that head covering is Jewish or Muslim. I'm not doing it. I'm not. And we are so close. This country is fractured in so many ways. Do it, with the Smith-Mundt Act, and of course Obama removed that too,
Mhm.
so that then the CIA can just lie, lie, lie. It's so bad. I keep thinking to myself that our generation, JJ, the 60s, 70s, 80s babies, if we don't fix it, I don't even think about the federal government anymore. I'm to the point that if we don't fix it, our kids will have nothing. There will be no safe haven. There will be nowhere for them to go. And that hurts my heart. It truly, we were the last free generation in the world. You can't go, there's no safe haven for us in this world.
No, no, it's over. And you're right. If it's not fixed immediately within a decade, they will be the minority. And they are already called demons. I have a blonde hair, blue eyed son. He's a demon. He's a man. He's a demon. They put all of the ills of the world on him. And the irony of all ironies, why do they do that? Why do they castigate whites? Because whites created this amazing thing called the United States of America and culture and arts and running water, electricity. When you remove
Ours.
us, cars, airplanes, you go on and on and on and on. How about a little thank you? How
Yeah,
about that? And don't tell me that I have to bow to you and say, I apologize, I'm taking a knee because I'm white. Are you out of your effing mind? There's no way I'm doing that. How about you tell me thank you and go on your way? Thank me for having a nation where if you want to be a stupid moron, you could be a stupid moron,
I agree.
right? And why do I or Americans have to apologize for being a Christian nation? Do you think Israel is going to stop being a Jewish nation? Do you think Iran and all the stands, they're all Muslim? Do you
Yep.
think they're going to capitulate to I'm Catholic, to go as a Catholic and go, hey, you know what? I think that you need to turn down these mosques and make them into Roman Catholic cathedrals, and we're going to have Catholicism throughout Iran. You know how fast that would die? How fast I
Right.
get my head caved in?
Yeah.
So when you tell me that I have to change why do I have to change my ways? I don't want my country to change. I
N-
love my country. You think it's screwed up. That's on you. But the rules, the laws state that you have to follow immigration the way it is. You guys bastardize it. You flooded our nation with third world hellscape countries that are people that are either physically and emotionally and intellectually retarded. Then the ones that are, quote, not retarded are hardcore felons, rapists,
Yes.
pedophiles, drug dealers. You
Religious
have
fanatics.
Yes, you have poured those people into our country, and then everyone sits back and goes, I don't understand why everything's going crazy. What the hell's wrong with you? You have half-wits that are Somalians that have stolen $25 billion from the state of Minnesota. Minnesota's a small state. Across the globe, across our country, when it's all said and done, they will show that they have stolen hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yes.
Hundreds of billions. Do you know that we're not $38 trillion in debt? We had $38 trillion stolen from us. Could you
Yes.
imagine? You and I, about the same age, have been paying income tax for decades. Can you
Yeah,
imagine what your and our lives would look like if we didn't pay 15, 20, 30, $50,000 a year in federal income tax? We would
I
have a
know.
total different financial picture. So why did you steal all my money and give it to foreign nationals? I think what you and I are discussing right now, the overarching, the big picture is so enormous. The fraud, the theft, the immigration, the treason, and it's all connected. The rotten schools. Why do you think they want to teach the lowest common denominator? Because they need stupid people. They don't
Yeah.
need people like you and I that have read the Constitution, read books. We know everything that's going on, and we're saying, "Hold time out. You can't do that." No, they want third world dwellers and dumb Americans where they can tell you, no, the Second Amendment was about not about long arms. It was just that was something that happened then. Freedom of
Yeah.
speech. No, no, no. Don't worry about it. You don't really have that. What?
Right.
Yeah, that's the world we live in right now, and it's
I
it's
agree.
maddening. It's
It
maddening.
is. And I think for people that have watched me for a few years and they've watched me do all the, they're just like, you turned so fast. And it's because I watched Charlie Kirk get assassinated. And I realized that in my mind right then, I thought to myself, and I actually said it, I don't know if it was the left or the right that did it. That for me was a turning point. That
Mhm.
I looked at the people in my own party and realized you're just as dirty. And I began to sit back and I ripped off this band-aid that says because I'm Christian, I've got to support the state of Israel. And I began to listen and research. And all of a sudden I realized we have been under psychological warfare. And
Propaganda.
yes, and I sat down and I thought, I don't want my sons to die in the Middle East. In fact, I'm going Friday to get my oldest son back, who has been in the Middle East, God knows where, God knows doing what, for a year. And when I touch that child, JJ, can I tell you, My mother's heart needs to see him.
Hmm.
And I spent the weekend with my youngest son, who was stationed in the Pacific Islands, because at 20, he's not old enough to rent a car or rent a place to stay, but they can put a gun in his hand
Hmm.
and send him overseas to die for other nations. And I've
Hmm.
had enough of seeing children being ripped from mothers in foreign wars that have to do with oil in corporations. I don't care anymore. Look, lock it down. And I mean, absolutely lock it down. We are a nation built on revolutionaries. We'll be okay. We will figure it out. We'll figure out how to grow food. We'll figure out how to come up with production lines. It may take a few years, but we'll be better for it on the back end.
We were the breadbasket of the world at
Yes.
one point. We don't need anybody. That's the dirty secret. We don't need anyone, and the world needs us.
Yes.
My son's 14. He'll be military age in 4 years. There's no way in hell I'm letting him join the military.
I
To do
understand.
what? To go fight for Jews? Listen, we've been in wars in the Middle East for Israel. Let's not even try to candy coat it. For Israel and the Jews for 2.5 decades. Do you know how many IDF soldiers have been in that war? Zero.
Yep.
Zero Jewish boys and girls have been in war. Our boys went to war for the Jews in Israel. And
I
I
know.
thank God that you said that because I was propagandized. I was told the Bible says this, and I go back and I reread the Bible and I go, the Bible doesn't say that. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't believe I've allowed them to say this to me. The country that the people that hate my Savior spit on the cross and spit on Christians when you go there. The people that mock my Savior and say that he's boiling and semen and urine and feces in hell, and his mother, the Virgin Mary, is a whore and a prostitute.
Yep.
Those are my best friends. You're going to sell me that they're my best friends? Go
Right.
pound sand. And you know what? You said rip the band aid off. I believe this is the age of awakening.
Me
Some of us
too.
are awakening way faster than others, but everyone's at least even the simpletons are looking around going, something's not right. I can't
Amen.
articulate it. Women. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
agree. My husband, I'm so thankful for him because I would be, just so easy to manipulate. And my husband would just never say a word. And I'd go show him something or ask him something, and he'd immediately nail it to the wall what he was looking at.
hmm.
And my word for you ladies, especially you Christian women, which I'm sure is probably all that's left, listen to me. Get your husband healthy. Feed him good food, meat. Feed your husband meat. Feed your sons meat. If your husband says we need to do this and it is a protection for you, stop being afraid. Put your husband back in the position that God put him in,
Hmm.
because right now we don't need any more beta males in this country. If I
No.
see another soy boy dancing pastor looking like a closet homosexual one minute and talking white national Christian nonsense the next, I'm going to vomit. Y'all had better be the women in the Bible. That's all. I go back to the Bible, start reading where God put you, and trusting that your husband can do what's going to need to be done. Stop handicapping him. Don't do it. You'll regret it.
Do
You'll
you? This is an amazing topic, and I've been fascinated by it. I blame everything that's happened in America on the Christian man because we allowed it. We've allowed ourselves to be feminized. We allowed ourselves to be run over by women. So if I believe that, and I do, I look at the state of the American woman today, like 30 to 60 to maybe to 70. There's a severe mental illness amongst that group of people. I say the most harmful, the most frightening, and the most disruptive group of people are not Muslims, they're not the Jews, it's not black on black crime. It's this large segment of white women. White women are out of their mind, and I would love to hear your take on this. I've been going, looking, and thinking, well, why is this? Why is this? and I have a theory, and I don't have anything scientific to prove it, but when you have decades and decades of women that are brutalizing their body by having multiple abortions,
Yes.
taking psychotic drugs to try to balance that out, and on top of that, propaganda. No wonder we call them Karens, but we have this mental illness on top of that birth control. So we have women that have had their bodies brutalized, taking hard narcotics to fluctuate their hormones, to make sure they don't get pregnant. They're sexually perverse, and now they're childless,
Yes.
and they're pissed off.
Yes.
And now they pick something to quote nurture. So now in Minnesota or Texas or California, the nurturing that they're choosing are illegal aliens. The same illegal aliens that would rape them
Yep.
and laugh at them before they cut their head off. It
That's
is like
exactly
I'm
right.
living in the twilight zone. And I do blame women. I blame white women as much as I blame the Christian man for allowing the women to run us over instead of saying, hey, no, I'm not listening to you.
Exactly.
This is not how God laid it out. God didn't want you to be in positions of authority and power. And I saw an incredible interview the other day where this woman laid out and said, "Do you know that women are more lawyers, more doctors, they're more teachers, they're more this, they're more that than men?" And they said now they're making horrible decisions in those segments of our society, and that is what we're looking at. We've
That's
lied.
right.
Feminism has lied to these women. They are childless. They're angry. They're pissed off, and they should be because they were fooled.
Yes.
They have some ownership in that. But I do believe that. Do you? How do you feel when a man says that as being a woman? That I'm laying that out like that.
I think you're right. I came from I try to explain this to people. I am the first generation in my family to not only finish high school but to go to college. My dad was a sharecropper from rural Biloxi. My grandparents could not read nor could they write.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad didn't even finish high school, but he managed to put three daughters through college and raise us to be ladies.
Hmm.
My dad is a gentle soul, but my father at 84 commands his home. My mother was, she is sinless in my father's opinion. It didn't matter. Honey, he never made the mistake to put a daughter above a wife, not once. If you tried to get into a conversation or argument, the belt came off immediately. When my daddy said stop, and as an adult, I'll never forget this, JJ. My sisters and I were walking down the beach. We got about a mile, maybe half a mile, and we heard our father whistle. We are all grown women married with children. That whistle made us turn in the sand in a one unison group and began going back. All my life, I could hear my father's voice in my head when I was making mistakes. Pumpkin, Samantha, I could hear his voice. He did a video today, 84. He just started TikTok. He has a YouTube channel. He's amazing, right? And even wrote an ebook. Like this man is like blowing it. There were not even TVs. He was born at home. He didn't have a pair of
Wow.
shoes till he was like 11. And so he he did a video today, the last great generation. They understood something back
Hmm.
then. A man doesn't have to be cruel to command a woman. I was sitting on the floor reading the Bible to my husband last night because he's dyslexic. So we were reading the Bible and we were talking. And I was sitting on the floor looking up at him. And he said something. And I said, well, that's why I love you because you have a heart for other people. And because you have a heart for other people, it makes me feel safe to give you mine. But he also has a wall. And when he feels that something is a threat to me or to ours, he doesn't care what or who you are. You're completely removed.
Hmm. That's how it should be.
Absolutely. And I think for some women, they don't know how to get their husbands to be that way. And so I tell women all the time on my channel, stop. talking about your husbands. Don't talk about your husband to your sister, to your
Mm-mm.
friend, to your kids. That's not their place. If your husband is not returning home on the minute, if he didn't leave work and is not speeding to get to you, there's trouble in paradise. Because I can set my life around the minute my husband walks through the door. Because I'm at the door. I hear him pull up and I open the door for him with a smile on my face because he is the highlight of my day.
Mm-hmm.
If that is not the relationship you're in, it's hard for a woman to trust. However, if you married an unsaved man, ladies, that's on you. God said, do not be unequally yoked. Therefore, you take it to God, not to your husband, because the Bible flat says a man is better off living on the roof of his house in the sun and weather than being in the home with a nagging wife.
Mm-hmm.
And more
Absolutely.
women, yeah, more women crucify men. Oh, you didn't take the trash out again. Shut up, dude. Take
Yep.
your own trash out, ladies. I mean, like, I look at women and I'm like, deep down inside, you want this man to pay your bills, defend you every time you turn around, fill your vehicle with gas, change your tires, but you nag him if he forgets to bring out the trash. And,
But
and
if
I
you
just think, I think you're 100% right. This world has told women that you can do everything. Well, ladies, I'm going to tell you right now, you can't.
can't, you
And
can't.
what's coming, you had better hope you've got a JJ Carroll or a Steven Starkey baby because you ain't going to make it. And I'm not
No.
sharing.
No, I know. And that's the truth is we're going to circle our wagons and that's going to be it. And I
That's
think
right.
this is the greatest discussion because everything else that we're talking about that's off center is because we brutalized God's natural order. We took
Yes.
and rearranged his order that was perfect and we're shocked. We're shocked that women have multiple partners. Then, after a woman has more than five partners, she is 100% guaranteed to be in divorce. And it
Absolutely.
just goes on and on and on. And we talked about, you need to go out, have sex with whoever you want. There's no repercussions. Oh my God, we find out that every time you're with a partner, a little bit of that man's DNA stays in your body.
Yes.
Now you and your husband have a child, but you have 20 different dudes' DNA inside your child. And now we're wondering why is our kids all jacked up?
Yep.
Why are they so screwed up? You
You're
cannot screw
100%
the
right.
yes. And you're absolutely right. The woman has to keep the house safe, clean, organized, peaceful. The man is supposed to provide and not only provide, but be loving and kind and
Yeah.
protective. And he has to be the leader in the house. But the problem is we are so bastardized. We have masculine women, which cause feminine men. It's completely reversed. Then the women start yapping, yapping, yapping. And what we're seeing now is women getting shot, women
Yeah.
getting punched in the face. And they're like, oh my God, what just happened to me? What do you think happened to you, sweetheart? You're in a man's world. You're doing man's thing. And when you deal with men like me and like your husband, if you strike me, you try to run me over, you try to do whatever, I'm going to punch you square in your face. And you're going to be like, I saw the greatest video. This
It's
woman
so
kept
true.
yelling to a police officer, go ahead, punch me. Go ahead, punch me. And she reached at him and he punched her in the face. And she says, know what she says? I can't believe you punched me. And I was like, this is the problem right there. They live in fantasy land. They need their
Right.
medication, but they're childless. Think about you're talking about your children. You could feel your love. You could feel the passion you have. Can you imagine having no children?
No.
Could you
It was
imagine
the
how empty
greatest
your
thing I've
life
ever done.
ever? Your life would be empty, wouldn't it?
Absolutely
It would
would.
just be empty,
Hmm.
empty. So
There's not
now
enough college degrees to hang on that wall to replace those
no.
pictures.
Hey, all you women out there, they lied to you that said that it's more important to be a middle manager in some company working for a man that
Yeah.
doesn't care about you, will not give you the weekends off and works you in overtime and does not care and then sends you home to an empty place. And what's happened is women that are now 40s, late 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s, they're childless. They have nothing. They're going to die lonely.
They are.
That's the truth. That is just simply the truth. And we've lost. We've lost generations. So when now you have this massive segment of our society that are childless, then you stop having the hand down of what it is to be a woman, what it means to be a wife, how important it is to be a mom. How special it is to have a house that's clean and organized and finances in order, and you're not running around being a whore. You're there for your husband. Your husband's not running around being having children out of wedlock. He's there at your house, and he's there, and he's like, "This is my family. We're going to go on vacation together. We're going to love each other. We're going to have a sanctuary for us." But there's millions upon millions of Americans that have no sanctuary.
I
So
know.
there we have chaos, and chaos builds on chaos. And that's the America we're looking at and we're living today. We have chaos. You have emasculated men that are allowing foreigners. Think of this terminology, the way I'm going to speak about this. We allowed foreigners, foreign invaders into our country. The men stood by as they came in, stole from us, stole our food, kicked our doors in, raped our women, killed our children, enslaved us, and we kept saying, all we have to do is be kinder. All we have to do is have more. Let's be no. The reason why you kept making excuses because you have no testosterone. You're not a man. A real man would die before they let something happen. Someone hurt their wife or their children. Not anymore. If somebody hurts my family, that individual or individuals have to pray to God that the police find them before I do, because
It,
I
it,
will kill them.
you say that. So we're minorities in our community. And I'm going to say this. My husband just brought in supper, so I have to hurry up because he was
Okay.
cooking on the grill for us. But in our and it's like 20 degrees now, and he's out there just cooking because he's an amazing husband, and we share these types of things. But we live in a black community, and when we moved here, my dad has black, and he grew up with blacks. He's not at all racist, but he did say, "Is it safe?" And I said, "Yeah." So the people in my community, I went to the store one time, and this gentleman just had a few too many drinks, and he was kind of flirting. And this other guy goes, "Dude, stop. Her husband is not going to play with you." And so the word around here is, yeah, send your kids. They can fish in their pond. She's such a nice lady. But man, do not mess with that white woman because her husband is not playing. And there have been people that have, yeah, that have seen him angry and have looked at me and said, "Call the police." And I'm like, "No, I'm not calling the police. You should have knew better." You
Yeah,
know?
you should know better. And men need to start acting this way, where we will lose our country,
Yeah,
because
we will.
it falls right at the feet of the Christian man in America. I always enjoy my conversations with you. Thank you.
I do too. And I just wanted to tell you that. Thank you. Thank you for articulating in such a way that I was like, "Go, JJ." I knew right then. I was like, "I'm texting him. We're doing a video." You gave me so much hope in that video because I was like, I'm not the only one that's
No.
upset and frustrated. But as a woman, it comes across as I'm being mean or I'm being petty or I'm picking on people. But I'm not. My daddy always taught me, "Samantha, do I believe my lying ears or my lying eyes?" And right now I'm having a real hard trouble, real hard time
Mhm.
trying to listen to what the government's telling me and what I'm seeing with my own eyes. I do believe there's hope because I believe that wherever there's Jesus, there's hope.
There is hope. There is, but God asks us to move and be a part of it. He doesn't ask us to stay on our knees praying. He wants you to be in action. And sometimes that's painful and it's uncomfortable and it's an inconvenience, but you better get in the game because our country is almost at the precipice.
Yeah, my husband just asked me a question to ask you. He said, "What would you suggest we do as citizens? What can we do to help? Like what can we do? Because we know the time's running out. We can feel it ticking."
I think information is key. And I think not only that, I think be an example. Instead of we talk about it, but people see you and your husband and your family, they want to emulate that. They want to see, what does a strong man look like? Because a lot of people don't see strong men.
Right.
They don't. And I think there needs to be an example. And I think there needs to be, when you hear somebody say something crazy, Stop nodding and agreeing. Call it out and say, no, you're crazy. That's
Right.
insane. No, 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 no. We're a Christian nation. No, we're a republic. We're not a democracy. And be
No,
able to speak that way. And I really believe words matter. And they matter because we have been propagandized to keep our mouth shut and just take it. Men can have babies. Oh, yeah, they can. Men need tampons. Oh, yeah, sure. Think about how far we went.
I
Think
know.
about that. Their historians are going to write volumes about the mental illness and the propaganda that was warped, how it warped our mind. I think the best way to do is be an example, but never ever bend a knee. Never. And it's hard for people because Christians and conservatives, we want to be kind. We don't want to upset. Those days are gone.
They are
We're in a
gone.
war. We're in a war. And if you have children, you know what I'm talking about.
I
I
do.
don't you fight for your kids and you fight for a country. If my country goes to war, I want to be the guy that goes to war. I don't want my son going to war for my country.
Amen.
I want him to grow up and be able to have children and laugh and go on vacations. That's not going to happen soon. Your child, my children, how are they going to afford a $500,000 townhouse?
I know.
How are they going to do that? They're not. So we this is bigger. This discussion go on for decades. However, the solution is going back to God's natural order, having a subservient wife and having a husband that loves his wife like Christ and would never ever disrespect her. And they become one and they become a power. And their
Yeah.
children see that. 100 years ago, our parents and grandparents, they knew that.
Yeah, they did.
We they were enlightened. We're not. Go have dinner with your husband. I know he's like, you better
He
hurry
just
up.
he just took a huge bite and he goes, "This is so good." And I glanced at him. I was like, "There's." I was fixing to reach for it. Thank you so much, JJ.
Oh,
God bless you. Stay safe,
I will. Thank
and
you
we
very much.
appreciate
Always
what
great
you've
talking to
done.
you.
You
Yep.
too,
Have a great
friend.
night. All
Bye
right. Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Did I